go for a sludge wave. I was actually contemplating building up to a sludge wave and baiting with hydro cannon, but I realized that I'm not going to get to two moves. So I'm going to go straight for the sludge wave here. And they let that go through. That is massive right now. That just one-shots the Cherrim right there, which is the Payback here. And we all know what Payback does to a Defense Deoxys. It's easily going to one-shot it. It's probably going to one-shot it even from a full health. What's up, guys? Welcome back. So Payback Shadow Machamp hype continues on this channel because in this video, we're going to be trying out a really spicy triple Shadow team consisting of Shadow Machamp with Payback, along with Shadow Swampert and Shadow Articuno in the Great League. Now, in my previous couple of videos, I tried out Shadow Machamp alongside Jellicent and Registeel, and that team comp worked really well for me. We managed to land a few Paybacks and one-shot a lot of Psychic types. If you haven't checked those videos out, the links to those will be in the description and the pinned comments below. But for this particular team comp, I decided to run it alongside Shadow Swampert and Shadow Articuno as well. Now, the one important thing to note is that I'm running only one charge move on my Shadow Articuno, because for the most part, for the 90% of the situations, you can get by with just Icy Wind. Yes, it would help to have a move like Hurricane, but that's legacy and I don't want to invest an elite charge TM on it. And again, Ancient Power is a pretty terrible move, especially after the nerf. So for the 90 to 95% of the situations, you're going to be using Icy Wind anyway, right? And then of course, Shadow Swampert obviously covers up for all of Shadow Articuno's weaknesses. Shadow Articuno is obviously going to be weak to Rock, Electric, Steel and Fire, and Swampert resists all of that. And Swampert's weakness, which is Grass, is resisted by Articuno, right? Which is why Shadow Articuno and Shadow Swampert form a really solid core, which allows Shadow Machamp to be able to sweep endgame towards the end, right? Which is why I'm going to be using it as a closer in this particular team comp. And again, we don't get too many opportunities to land Paybacks in the initial few battles, but we managed to land some towards the end of the video. So please stay tuned for that and some exciting battles in there, and let's just get straight into it. Okay, moving on to the first battle here. I'm going to be showcasing some of the best battles from the two sets of battles that I did with this team. I went 3 and 2 in both those sets. So I'm going to be showcasing some of the best wins and some losses as well. So we have Articuno into a Beedrill. Pretty positive matchup this because we're going to resist most of Beedrill's charge moves except for Sludge Bomb, but most Beedrills don't tend to run Sludge Bomb. So this is probably just going to be an X-Scissor or a Fell Stinger. I'm going to let it go through. It is just a Fell Stinger, which is fine. And then I'm going to try and go for the Icy Wind as soon as possible here. Obviously, Fell Stinger is going to boost their attack. So I'm going to go for the Icy Wind to try and lower their attack here. So those Poison Jabs are going to do lesser damage right now. So again, they're probably going to get to another Fell Stinger, which is absolutely fine. I'm going to let it go through. It's fine. It's definitely not going to do that much damage. And we should be able to get to another Icy Wind here. Now, this is either going to get this second shield from the Beedrill or take it out. So we're either going to get switch advantage or a 2 shield advantage. We do get 2 shield advantage, which is fantastic. They are able to Poison Jab down, which is fine. I'm going to come in with my Swampert here. And then I'm going to let it go through. I'm hoping that this is just another Fell Stinger, but unfortunately ends up being a Drill Run, right? That does massive neutral damage there. And they make a switch if there's Crafty. This is perfect. I can just come in with my Machamp and completely counter this thing down because they're taking super effective damage from those counters because of that dark typing. And I'm going to shield this up, but it ends up being an Acid Spray. That's like the worst thing right now because that lowers our defense as well. But luckily we're able to farm it down. Expecting the Beedrill to come in, I'm just going to go straight for the Cross Chop here. Now this is double resisted because of the Bug Poison typing, but still going to be able to take it out. And they have an Ampharos in the back. Luckily, we have another Cross Chop ready to go. This is going to do quite a bit of neutral damage to it. And we still have a shield and also almost a Hydro Cannon on Swampert, right? So my Machamp goes down, it's fine. We're probably one Mud Shot away from a Hydro Cannon. And we do lag a little bit. Luckily, I'm able to get to a Hydro Cannon just in time here. And this is going to take out the Ampharos and take the win for us there. So pretty close battle, to be honest. I mean, that Acid Spray really caught me off guard. Honestly, if not for Acid Spray, we would have had a little more health on Shadow Machamp. I probably could have committed to the farm down on Beedrill and probably had 2 Cross Chops to throw at Ampharos. But I mean, we still had Swampert in the back, so it wasn't an issue anyway. So moving into the second battle here. We have Shadow Articuno into a Bastiodon. Terrible matchup. This immediately going to save switch in my Swampert because we have 2 Bastiodon counters. And I'm assuming this is going to be the Bastiodon double grass line. Luckily, it's not a double Razor Leaf line. So that's pretty good for us. I'm going to let it go through because I know it's just a Weather Ball. So I'm just going to try and go for a Sludge Wave. I was actually contemplating building up to a Sludge Wave and baiting with Hydro Cannon, but I realized that I'm not going to get to 2 moves. So I'm going to go straight for the Sludge Wave here. And they let that go through. That is massive right now. That just one-shots the Cherrim right there, which is huge, right? That just completely is going to flip this matchup because we have switch advantage right now, and as expected they have a double grass line. And I'm going to come in with my Articuno immediately because they are switch locked in this matchup, right? So I'm going to come in with the Articuno, go immediately for the Icy Wind right now. This is going to take out the Shadow Victory Bell, and then we have a Shadow Machamp in the back which is going to destroy the Bastiodon. They come in with Bastiodon, we have a Shadow Machamp, and this is beautiful, right? This is like one of the best matchups in the game, and there's not a lot they can do there. They decide to surrender because there's no way they were going to come back from that there. So it was absolutely critical that I had to win switch advantage. I mean, Bastiodon double grass lines can be very difficult for this team comp, but the fact that I switched it into Swampert and landed the Sludge Wave completely flipped it, right? So moving into the third battle here, we have Articuno into a Politoed. Pretty tough matchup this because they are resisting those Ice Shards and Icy Wind. Obviously, the thing is that Politoed is a pure water type, unlike Swampert, which is a water and ground type. I mean, Articuno would have a slightly better matchup against Swampert because that would take neutral damage from the ice moves, whereas Politoed resists the ice moves, right? So I'm going to build up to an Icy Wind and then switch into my Shadow Machamp here and go straight for the cross chop, putting massive shield pressure onto this Politoed. It does get the shield, which is fine. And they're probably going to go for a Surf or a Weather Ball. I mean, I think they're running Surf, which is pretty interesting because Weather Ball is probably the way to go because Weather Ball is just such an OP move, right? But anyways, another charge move coming through. I'm going to let this go through because, we do let that go through. And they have an Azumarill. So it's a good thing we let that go through because Azumarill would have come in and completely walled my Machamp here. So I'm just going to go straight for the cross chop right now. And unfortunately, they don't shield that, which is expected. It's fine. They are able to farm us down for quite a bit of energy. So I'm going to come in with my Swampert here and I'm probably going to have to shield this move. And then I'm just going to build up to a Sludge Wave and then bait with Hydro Cannon. So I do shield Icy Wind, which is Ice Beam, beg your pardon, which is fine. I'm going to overfarm a little bit and then throw the Hydro Cannon here. This is probably going to get the shield from the Azu because they're probably 1 or 2 bubbles away from a charge move. So at this point, I'm going to try and switch into my Articuno. I'm just trying to get off this Icy Wind as soon as possible. Unfortunately, we don't get out. That's where I make a key mistake. Honestly, I should have clicked the Icy Wind as soon as possible because Articuno would win CMP against Azumarill. So they actually make a switch into their Politoed. I'm going to go straight for the Hydro Cannon here. I know this is resisted, but it's still going to do enough damage to take out the Politoed. And they, let's see what they have. They actually come in with Azumarill. This is where I mean, if I had landed the Icy Wind, I would have put this Azumarill into Hydro Cannon range, which is absolutely crucial. It's going to make a lot of difference in this matchup, as you'll see. So I'm forced to throw a Sludge Wave, right? Because I need to take it out. And they have an Alolan Sand Slash in the back. This is exactly why I needed to basically get rid of the Azumarill with the Hydro Cannon so that I had enough energy to get back-to-back Hydro Cannons on this Alolan Sand Slash. Again, we're able to get to the first Hydro Cannon, but unfortunately, we're like 2 Mud Shots away from the second Hydro Cannon, right? So definitely a misplay on my part. I should have probably clicked the Icy Wind right away on the Articuno, and we wasted so much energy there. So if I'd gotten it off, then I definitely could have won this game, right? So, but it's fine. You live and you learn. Hopefully we can make a comeback here. So moving into the next battle of the first set of battles here. So we have Articuno into a Wigglytuff. A pretty neutral matchup this. I mean, we are taking quite a bit of damage from these charms. I don't have a real hard counter for the Charmers. The one thing is I definitely don't want my Machamp to go up against it. So I'm going to go for the Icy Wind here to debuff it and lower the charm damage. They do shield that, which is fine. And because we lowered the charm damage, we should be hopefully able to get to another Icy Wind, which I'm able to just in time here. And this is either going to get the shield or probably take out the Wigglytuff. Gets the shield. This is fine. We have a 2 shield advantage and this team really does well with the 2 shield advantage, right? So I'm going to come in with my Swampert here and then they're able to get to a charge move. So I'm going to shield this up and overfarm this matchup because we're not taking too much damage from charm. Luckily we shield that. That ends up being a dazzling game. That would have done a lot of damage, right? So I'm going to build up to 2 Hydro Cannons and go for the first one here. This is definitely going to take out the Wigglytuff from this range. As it does there, and let's see what they have in the back. They actually come in with Vigoroth. This tells me that they don't really have a hard counter for Swampert. So going to go for the Hydro Cannon here. It's going to do massive neutral damage to this Vigoroth. And immediately going to switch into my Shadow Machamp and try and delete this thing. They make a switch into their Swampert. This is fine. I was trying to go for the Payback here. Probably should have gone for the Payback. I mean, because it is a Payback Shadow Machamp showcase, but I decided to go for the cross chop anyways because I felt like that would do enough damage. As you can see, that almost takes it out. It's fine. I'm going to shield this up because I can counter this Swampert down and come out of this matchup with a cross chop, right? So I'm going to counter it down and then we have a cross chop ready to go, and so Machamp wins CMP against Vigoroth. So I'm going to be able to get to this cross chop here. It's going to take out the Vigoroth and take the win for us there. So that Vigoroth probably had a body slam or probably a little more than body slam, but it didn't matter because we had loaded energy anyway. So yeah, this was like the first set of battles where I went 3-1, as you can see there. A couple of tough losses, but it's fine. Let's move into the second set of battles here. So overall, honestly, I could have probably gone 4-1 in that set, but it's all good. So we have Articuno into a Ludicolo. Very favorable matchup this, because we're doing neutral damage with those ice moves. They make a switch into their Ferrothorn. Perfect. I can just go straight into Machamp, right? This is like we have the perfect hard counter here. I'm going to shield this up because again, Power Whip would do quite a bit of neutral damage. And again, Machamp is an absolute glass cannon, especially the Shadow version. So I'm going to actually build up a little extra energy and throw the cross chop just before they can get off a Power Whip so that I can force a shield out of them. We do get a shield, which is fantastic. And I'm probably going to have to double shield in this matchup. I'm going to shield this up and try and counter this Ferrothorn down. So I'm going to shield up this Power Whip here. We should be able to counter it down before they can get to another charge move, which we are able to, which is fantastic. And yeah, let's see what decides to come in. They actually come in with their Unova Stunfisk. This is fine. I'm going to be able to pressure shields and do massive damage with these cross chops and counters. So going to go for the cross chop here. It does quite a bit of neutral damage there. And let's see if I can get to another one. We're able to get to another one as well. This is exactly why Shadow Machamp is so destructive, right? It can run through a lot of teams if you don't have an answer to it. It does give the shield there, which is fantastic. And at this point, the only thing that matters is that I have switch advantage, right? Because I can line up my Swampert against their Unova Stunfisk, and I can have my Articuno go up against their Ludicolo. So going to come in with my Swampert here, and they are going to throw a charge move. It's fine. It's not going to do too much damage. It's probably going to be a Mud Bomb, which is okay. And I'm expecting them to switch at any point, which is why I'm probably not going to throw the Hydro Cannon here. And they make a switch in their Ludicolo. We bang the Hydro Cannon and switch it to my Articuno. Go straight for the Icy Wind here. It's going to do massive neutral damage because of the grass and water typing on the Ludicolo. I do have to watch out for Ice Beam and Hydro Pump in this matchup, but because we've debuffed it, it's not going to take us out, right? It's probably just going to be an Ice Beam, and it's definitely not going to take us out, not even come close to taking us out. We should be able to get to another Icy Wind here, which we are able to just in time. And this is going to take out the Ludicolo, and the thing is that Stunfisk cannot farm us down, right? Because we're doing super effective damage with these Ice Shots and Icy Wind as well. And they're going to have to throw immediately because they would probably get farmed down with those quick moves. And it's fine. We have loaded energy on Swampert, and this is GG's at this point. So I'm going to come in with my Swampert here, but I think they decide to surrender because there's no way they will come back from that there. So as you can see, I mean, like I said, between Shadow Swampert and Shadow Articuno, you're going to be able to handle most of the top threats in the meta, which is why they form a really solid lead and safe switch option. I mean, obviously Shadow Machamp, and that kind of gives a little bit of room for Shadow Machamp to be able to close out endgame as well. So we have Shadow Articuno into a Shadow Victory Bell. Fantastic lead. This is like best case scenario right now because our backline struggles against Victory Bell. So they make a switch into their Alolan Marowak. Gonna come in with my Swampert here and go straight for the Hydro Cannon. This is gonna one-shot the Alolan Marowak if it goes unshielded, right? One-shots it, which is fine. It's understandable why they let that go through because they're probably gonna come in with the Articuno and try and completely farm me down, which is fine. So they come in with Victory Bell and farm me down. So I'm gonna come in with my Articuno and throw the Icy Wind immediately because I don't want to get hit by a Leaf Blade, because even though that's resisted, it will do quite a bit of damage because of that additional shadow bonus. They do shield that, and it's fine because we've lowered their attack. I don't have to shield this, right? We can survive it even if it's a Leaf Blade. They do go for Leaf Tornado, which is fine. It does lower our attack, but we should be able to Ice Shot down. Let's see what they have in the back. They have an Azumarill in the back. So I'm going to go straight for the Icy Wind here and to lower the attack of the Azumarill. And it's up to Shadow Machamp to close out this game, right? Now, Shadow Machamp with this particular moveset is going to get walled by Azumarill, but you'll see how much damage Machamp can do to an Azumarill, right? Especially to a debuffed Azumarill. Bubble has already been nerfed on top of the fact that we've already debuffed it because of Icy Wind. It's not really doing that much damage, and we have a shield advantage as well. So I'm going to shield this up. And even though those counters and cross chops are resisted, you can see how much damage it does to a tank like Azumarill, right? And they decide to surrender the match there. So Shadow Machamp is just so OP. I mean, to be able to beat something like an Azumarill, I mean, it obviously doesn't beat Azumarill in even shielding and even MG scenarios, but with a certain sort of energy or shield advantage, it can actually go up against it, which is pretty significant there. So anyways, moving into the next battle here. I don't know, it's probably this one or the next one where we land Payback, but probably not this one. I don't exactly remember. But anyways, moving into this battle here, we have Articuno into an Alolan Ninetales here. So this is a pretty neutral matchup, I guess. I mean, it's not a great matchup to be honest. I mean, if he had Ancient Power, it'd be good. But we go for Icy Wind, we get the shield. So they probably thought there was an Ancient Power or something. And they're probably going to try and charm us down. But they make a switch into their Mew. This is fine. I'm going to go for the Icy Wind to hopefully try and debuff it. And then I'm going to probably switch into my Swampert here. Because I'm going to try and switch into my Swampert because most Mews tend to run the Flame Charge, Wild Charge moveset. In which case, Mud Boy is completely walled, right? Because both Fire and Electric types moves are resisted. They go for Flame Charge, it's debuffed as well, hardly does anything. So I'm going to build up a little extra energy and throw the Hydro Cannon here just before they can get to a Flame Charge. Let's see if they want to give up a shield in this matchup. They do want to shield that, which is fine. So at this point, I'm going to shield as well, right? Because I definitely want to preserve the health on my Swampert. And they go for Wild Charge. So that's actually a good shield. It would have taken out my Swampert. So I'm going to be able to Mud Shot down because they basically lowered their defense. I'm going to be able to completely Mud Shot down here. And this is where I make a little bit of a key mistake. They come in with their Alolan Ninetales. I should have gone straight for the Sludge Wave, right? Sludge Wave would have one-shot it. I go for Hydro Cannon for some reason. And I was hoping that my switch timer is coming back up. And unfortunately, we're not able to switch in time as well. So we wasted so much energy on Swampert. And that ended up costing me the game. Definitely a big misplay on my part. I should have either gone straight for the Sludge Wave or probably switched out in time. Either one of those would have worked. Ideally, should have gone for the Sludge Wave. And they have a Politoed in the back. And this is GG's, right? Trying to get to a Payback here because I knew Cross Chop wouldn't cut it. But unfortunately, they're able to get to a Weather Ball, and that's going to take out my Machamp, and Articuno is going to go down as well. So, yeah, they're going to probably be able to get to another Weather Ball. Again, Politoed just spams those moves like crazy, right? It just takes like 4 Mud Shots to get to Weather Ball, which is pretty ridiculous, but Yeah, definitely could have had that. I mean, if I'd landed the Sludge Wave on Alolan Ninetales, then I would have had a shield advantage in the Machamp versus Politoed matchup. And with the shield advantage, I could have landed a Payback. So definitely a misplay on my part, but then again, mistakes happen. But moving into the final battle, I think, of the video, where I think this is the battle where we land the Payback here. Yeah, this is the one. So we have Articuno into Defense Deoxys. Terrible matchup, right? Because we're double weak to Rock because of the Ice and Flying typing. So I'm going to try and catch the Rock Slide onto Swampert, which is fantastic. This is double resisted, beg your pardon, single resisted because of the ground typing. And now they come in with Umbreon. This is fine. Swampert has a pretty decent matchup against Umbreon because you're going to be able to do quite a bit of neutral damage with these Hydro Cannons, right? So going to go for the Hydro Cannon here. Does okay damage. Probably going to take 3 Hydro Cannons from a Shadow Swampert to get rid of Umbreon. And I'm not going to shield this because Foul Play is not going to do enough damage to take us out. And Snarl is doing very minimal damage anyway. So I'm going to overfarm a little bit and then throw the Hydro Cannon here. And this is going to put the Umbreon pretty low. And let's see what they want to do here. They do let that go through, which is fine. And again, this is exactly why Shadow Swampert is so OP as a safe switch, right? If you don't have an answer to it, it can run through a lot of team comps. So I'm going to be able to get to another Hydro Cannon, gets the shield from the Umbreon, which is huge. You're going to come in with my Articuno right now. And then I'm going to try and get this Icy Wind off as soon as possible. Trying to put massive shield pressure on this Umbreon because they have so much loaded energy, right? They just shielded a Hydro Cannon. So they shield up the Icy Wind as well. This is fantastic. So we have a Shadow Machamp in the back with the 2 shield advantage. And we all know what happens when when you're in a situation like that. So we soak up the Foul Play. We make a switch in their Machamp. We make a simultaneous switch. Actually, they come into their Defense Deoxys. This is fine. We have Payback, right? So I'm going to shield this up. Probably just going to be a resisted Rock Slide, but I don't want to risk getting hit by a Psycho Boost. And I'm just going to go for the Payback here. We all know what Payback does to a Defense Deoxys. It's easily going to one-shot it. It's probably going to one-shot it even from a full health range. It takes it out there. Expecting the Umbreon to come back in. Hopefully I can counter it down. And I know the Umbreon has loaded energy. So I'm going to shield this up, right? Because if it's Last Resort, that would KO. And I don't want to get hit by a Last Resort right now. So we do shield the Last Resort. We're able to counter down here. And let's see what they have at the back. They have a Scrafty in the back. This is beautiful. It's a double dark team and this is GG's at this point. I'm going to go for the Cross Chop. It's going to do massive super effective damage because of that dark typing. And we should probably be able to counter down here. But they're able to get to a charge mode. This is fine. We still have like decent amount of health in Articuno. It is going to be probably a Power Up Punch. It's going to take us out, which is fine. I'm going to come in with Articuno and one Ice Shot is going to take out this Scrafty there. So yeah, I mean, once again, very, very solid team comp. Honestly, it's one of those other sets where I could have easily gone 4-1, but definitely made a big mistake, to be honest. Not sort of, like I mentioned, one of those previous battles, but it does happen when you're using a team like this. Even one mistake can pretty much cost you, right? So anyways, thank you so much for watching. I'll be trying out multiple other team comps with Shadow Machamp in like probably tomorrow's videos as well. And once again, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you tomorrow.